Welcome back to Courtside Comparisons, presented by NerdWallet, here with Buddy Hield for his second episode. Buddy, thank you for sitting down with us.
Number 2.
Buddy, let's go way back with this one. Take us on a journey. You've talked about growing up in the Bahamas, but I don't think you've told sort of the full story of where you come from and where you've ended up. So can you sort of, if you can, give us sort of like a compare and contrast of what childhood looked like for you and the life that you've built now?
Growing up in the Bahamas, it was a lot fun. I think that I enjoy being a kid, a child, teenager. I think, to be honest with you, they're your best days of your life. And experience that back home, I would never trade that for anything in the world. Even though it was like, oh, like I had this, I had that, I feel like God made us and put us in a place and a reason for a certain, at a perfect time for a reason, and we were able to make the best of it and enjoy it, and that's who we become when we get older, and we learn from our mistakes and what we learn from our roots, from our parents, and growing up and seeing the day-to-day life, and especially when you grow up in the islands, it's a hustle mindset, hustle mentality. You got to figure out, you never know where the next paycheck's coming from, next dollar's come from, but you appreciate the little things, and that's been important about me, just trying to appreciate the little things, especially for my mom, watching her with 7 kids and see how she's struggling. There's good days and bad days, but like end of the day, we never go to bed hungry. We always wake up with a meal. I was always stubborn. I was always the one that is doing crazy stuff. Never home on time. Always in the basketball court. When I'm late, my mom comes to the basketball court looking for me. You can hear a band squeaking. Just doing all those type of stuff and just living every day. I'm when mango season on, stealing mangoes off people's trees, doing all the stuff. Anything happen in the neighborhood, they always blame me for some reason. When it is even not me, I always get the blame. And it's like, it's Jackie's boy. So, but it was fun, and I always, every time I go home, I always reminisce and I think about all the fun times I had there in 8 Mile Grand Bahamas, where I grew up from, and it was just fun. You can't really replace those days, and even coming to America, you still try to apply what you did back home, and you can never get that same feeling because that's home, and that's what made you, and that's made me who I am today. That made my hustle, my grind, my passion, my everyday, and that's what motivated me to be here. And even when I go back, I do enjoy it, but I always just thankful for what my brought up. See, what God bring me through, and how I over to conquer that, and how it would make life better for me and my family. And I just thank God for that. But I do miss those days. I do miss the food every day. I really don't love American food, I'll be honest with you, but because the Bahamian food is the best thing in the world to me, and my mom cooking is the best cooking in the world, and everybody brags for their mom cooking, but my mom is elite.
What are her specialties?
Everything. She's just elite. She can bake, she can cook, she can clean. She's just elite. You clean the house, my mom, you come clean my house, my mom do it 20 times better than you. She's that elite, and that's she's like a perfect woman to me, So I'm just spoiled in that sense of category of being nurtured and all stuff like that. So when she see my house, my room might be dirty, whatever. She comes in, she's like, oh, it's not clean, but I know what clean is, and she taught me a lot. So whatever I learned from her, or where I seen what she's been through, I try to apply that to my life, being an adult in America.
Okay, there are a couple things I want to dig into. What was basketball culture like as a kid in the Bahamas? Take us to that court. Was it inside, outside?
Always outside.
Always outside.
Always outside.
So that's a difference right away off the jump, right?
Yeah, always outside.
Tell us more about what that was like culturally.
Oh, it's just so I was one of those kids. I try to beat the sun. Mm-hmm. I try to beat the sun. Whereas
in the morning.
Try to get there early, so you catch the sun before it gets up, because it's hot.
Yeah.
And then when the clouds, when it's it's raining all the time in the Bahamas, but when the clouds, when it's about to rain or something, you try to go in the court and try to be in the court when the shade is there, because then it's more cooler breeze. And we had a gazebo in our park, but just trying to figure out how to beat the sun. And then after 4 o'clock, we try to get everybody on the court at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because when the sun starts to go down, you try to get good basketball runs and try to compete with your friends. But if they don't do it, so what? I go there by myself. And I was always a guy that always read in the court with myself, because nobody's gonna wake up early. So I was like, man, they're not gonna wake up early, 7, 8 o'clock in the court. Even though every time my mom left to go to work at 7, 8 o'clock, I'm like, she's left. So I hurry run on the court and try to get a couple of shots off. I had my gallon of juice or gallon of water in my hand. Yeah, and it was just day in the life in the islands, and it was fun, just maneuvering through that, and just trying to any ways to get in the court. And even like when I can get to the gymnasium, I try to like do all the little stuff that to make them keep me in the gymnasium, where it's like clean the court for them, like, or I always try to take care of the court or clean the beaches to make sure there's no mess around the court. To make sure, like, okay, you can trust me in the gym, like, because I want to be here all the time. So, like, they call me gym rat or whatever. They say, oh, buddy has room in the back because he's always here. So I always try to do the stuff. So, like, that's why I have a basketball court in my house, because, like, so much I want to be around the basketball court. And I know how to take care of the court. And I know what it's like to keep it clean and it's slippery. Like, you need tractions. I'm an addict towards that. So I started off doing that before I started playing basketball too. In high school, because I was never as talented as kids, and I was young, so I had to like make my way up to get to that level.
So you were sort of your mom, the way that you talk about how well she kept your house. You were sort of the mom of the court.
Yes, I had to keep it clean. It was not tractions. I know how to put the water on the floor, how much water. Even though sometimes when you want sticky, I know to like get a sticky towel. I throw some like, sounds crazy, but like if you want like stickiness, throw like some soda in a towel and you step on it and the water on your shoe gets sticky. Cause
soda like
pop.
Like pop, yeah.
Yeah, you on the towel and you step on it to get that sticky traction, because in the Bahamas, like, it's just different. Like, like in America, like, everybody that has access to the court, but when people walk on the court, they walk on their shoes and it's annoying, and like they track the dust, and it's like you just can't keep those stubborn kids off the floor, and so that you had to like monitor the floor and try to keep it as clean as possible you can.
So I have to ask, when you had everybody over to your house, let's fast forward by like 20-something years.
Right.
You had everybody over to your house when we played in Dallas, and the whole team is in there working out, all of the staff. We got off the plane and went straight to your house. Was that like bothering you, seeing everybody walking onto the court with their like airplane outside shoes, like everything going on there?
See what happened is, like, everybody walked to the garage, to the garage part, because there's like a little turf. So they walk on there, that you can like, whatever you come from outside, you can put on the turf, and like less dust on the floor.
Okay, so that was strategic.
Oh, of course, trust me. All right, but then we have mats too, like NBA mats, where you can like stick them, where you can step on the court before you go. And they had to change their shoes, but I'm aware of all that.
I mean, staff doesn't have to change our shoes, though.
I mean,
so you needed us to go through the.
Yeah, but like, that's the exception. My court was clean, so like, you guys walked through that, so like, it was enough to manage for that day.
Inside the mind of Buddy Hield. This is fun. Okay, I have another question then. You said that in the neighborhood, everybody blamed everything on you.
Yeah, all the time.
How much of that blame?
Jackie boy.
If you had to put a percentage on it, Jackie's your dad or your mom?
Mom. Jackie's my mom.
Okay, so if you had to put a percentage on it, how much of the trouble was actually the fault of Jackie's boy?
I mean, like, the little kid's trouble, not the big adult trouble. Like, yeah, if a window get break, it was my fault.
But what percentage of the time did you actually do it?
I think 99.9%. Like, but it wasn't me though. Like, it was like there was other bad kids in the neighborhood too. But
how did you build that reputation?
Because I was everywhere.
Okay.
I was all the place. I was never home. Never could keep still. I was always doing something. I was always like in the mix. Whether I was with the big adults, or it was with the little kids or the medium kids. I was always figuring it out. I was everywhere. So like, it was always getting the blame. I'm always around. If I didn't know who do it, if I didn't do it, I know who did it.
Okay.
So I was affiliated with it.
So you were always at least a little bit to blame then.
I mean, if I know who do it, I'm not gonna snitch.
So you took the blame sometimes.
I mean, like, no matter what, if my name get called, I was still getting the beating. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all.
Okay. At what age did you start going to the court before the sun?
So
when did you build that habit?
So like, we used to live with my dad at first, and after that we moved from my dad's house. And when we moved from my dad, I got that from like what, 10 maybe, when I was 10. And then after that, when you get moved to a new neighborhood, like we used to live there before, but like coming from like 5 to 10 years old is like a big gap. you really don't know nobody in the neighborhood. You're trying to figure out your mom is having you scared, like, oh, you can't go to this place, you can't go to this place. You're trying to figure the neighborhood out. But you know me, like, that's when I stopped building my basketball court. I built my own crate court because she said you couldn't go to the park. So I find a ways I can stay close to, like, the street lamp where I can, like, so I started building a crate court. And then when I built a crate court, then after I started meeting new friends. And after that,
So you built this in your neighborhood
I built it
yourself?
no. So my grandmother's house had like a street lamp on by it. So at nighttime, I was like, man, like how can I build a court where I can't get in trouble, where I can't go to the park? Because
Right.
I get in trouble going to the park all the time. So my basketball coach, he lived down the street because I found a basketball coach. He passed away, rest his soul. I said, man, like can we put this basketball court there? And like you got these two ladies in the front of our yard. They make all the noise. They were just like grumpy. They're just grumpy, and make noise all the time. And then we get another guy on the right, a lamppost there. His name is Mr. Benny. Every time I build a court, he take a crowbar and he break it down. And like he was just like miserable old people. But they were good people though, because I got a funny story. Funny story about it. But like, so I couldn't build it in front of their house because I did it and they break it down. And then after that. So I'm gonna go down this lamppost because like it was quiet. It was like more quiet, but like the old people didn't really care as much. And the old people like very grumpy back in the Bahamas and the island. They don't want too much noise. My grandmother was like, you're gonna be funny. She's deaf, but she always say too much noise around the house. So that was funny. But I love her to death. But like I was like, yo, you can't even hear like what you talking about like.
But she probably knew her friends were annoyed.
No, but they used to talk all the time because she can read lips really well. She's elite at reading lips. So my grandma could have talked. She just got deaf earlier. I said, you can't even hear like what's the matter. She's like, I'm tired of you making noise in front of my yard. Like, so I went down the street. But then after they accepted it, where like nobody's like making a fuss of it, so everybody started coming. And so like when kids know there's like a crate court where they can kind of dunk on, not everybody wants to be a part of it. You know, the whole neighborhood start coming. So like when you start getting traction about that, so now your road, we had like 4 roads, and like my road is lit because now
it's the cool court.
It's a cool court.
It's a cool road because there's a court.
Because the court, now everybody's coming there to play basketball, and like, there's a lamp post over it, so like you can play as long as you want. So like we're there at nighttime, and like it's fun. And sometimes like that what made growing up in the Bahamas so fun. Like you don't go to a court, but you got to go to a crate court, and you got to play like island basketball, whereas like you can't really pump the ball up too hard. You gotta be a little softer.
Because you're gonna break it.
Yeah, we break it and you shoot it, and like you can't really dunk. And then some guys with a lead, they trying to dunk and they break out crate courts, and after that you put it up there, you gotta put it back down. And I was like, dog, and like it is too much work. And after that, and every time we try to do it, I'm like, it's a lot of labor and like not enough nails. Doing the court, I'm messing up my finger because I'm trying to like bam the nail inside the plastic and onto the backboard or the plywood, and it's not giving. So like. We stopped doing that, and after that, fast forward now, like funny story, like as they were older back in the day, but like when they saw that I made it out and I did something good, they all of my friends now, we all best buddies. Like I'm like, God bless their soul. Like a lot of them have passed away, but like before when I in the NBA, like I was able to like have a conversation with them, not being afraid of them, because every time they see me, they're always mad at me, and it's like you see them as sweet old people, and like how they like, Mr. Benny's not really a bad dude, he's not like, as I look at him, it's like, oh, you can't walk past Mr. Benny yard, he's looking at you a certain way, or you can't walk past Mr. Jaunty, like he's gonna break down the court. So like you get to like build a relationship with them as they taking that last lap, and like I think that was the coolest part about like I think it gets more emotional because then like you get to see them grow old, and after that, at the age when they're like 60-ish, they're still young, but they're so strong. And as time passed by, like 70, 80, you like, oh, I remember like when like we had our battles in the road and like arguing, but it was not just no disrespectful. It was just like in them, just like trying to like, we don't want too much noise, but like we just grow a relationship where it's like we all become friends, and like they always ask me how I'm doing with basketball, and like they watch me all the time. So it's cool to see them. They didn't get to watch me. They read the newspaper, and it's like, oh, like they show me the newspaper, me in the articles and stuff like that, and it was like, oh, that's sweet of them to like check up on me. And like every time I go back, I always like say hi to them and like have a conversation with them, because I feel like without them like breaking down my basketball court and me as a kid figuring out ways to like get back at them, just like I think they helped me with part of my success, trying to make me hungry. Because when somebody make me mad, like something I couldn't do, I always get mad. So they were part of my success because like they make me get better. And like,
did they ever apologize for giving you so much grief growing up, seeing what you've turned into now?
No, I apologize.
Aw.
Yeah, I was, because I understand what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. And like, you don't put basketball goals on lampposts, because then after that, if something happens to the power, we don't have power like that. And so then after that, the whole road is shut down with power, and like, so they're protecting the neighborhood, but like, so it was fun, it was cool, and I apologize, for like, being the stubborn buddy. Yeah, that was.
But they're so proud of you, all of them.
They're all proud of me. They're all proud of me. And like when I go back, we all have giveaways, and they come to the. Some things, like funny things about it is like every time I go back, I have like camp every year, and I have giveaways, and they always front row center, like giving their support. They looking out for me.
Buddy Hield, thanks for joining us on Courtside Comparisons, presented by NerdWallet.
Thank you.